Hi, this is Joe, and today we'll be talking about the words though, true, and thorough. And there are other words which start with th and have gh in it, and somewhere in between there's ou, but with all of them we have like ougho, okay? And those are the words which are very commonly used in English, but we don't know where to use them and how to use them because they sound very similar, and even if they don't sound very similar, they have very similar spellings and they can be sometimes used interchangeably, and we don't know what those words mean. And the third one is extremely tricky because most of the dictionaries, if you look up the meaning of that word, which I'm talking about true, um, you don't know what it means because they're just going to talk about an endpoint and a starting point and the middle part. And they don't actually explain where it can be used, and there aren't many meanings regarding its usage. Like, it can be used in 3 different situations, but we're only told one meaning, and we can't always look at that word in that way, applying its literal meaning to every single scenario and thinking if it's right. Okay, so the first word we'll talk about is thorough. Thorough. This means looking at each and every detail, looking at each and every aspect in detail with due diligence and care. And it can be used in many different scenarios. For example, if I'm talking about notes, if they're thorough, it means that the notes contain all the necessary information that could be of use. If I'm talking about someone or some video being thorough, it means it walks you through each and every step, and it walks you through each and everything you need to know about that topic. So it's thorough. Another word that we have is though. Now this word is used when we're talking about something and we're describing its qualities. For example, if I'm talking negatively about something, I'm giving negative aspects of somebody's personality, but I say one thing positive. That's when I'll be using the word though. Though means, in contrast to what I have explained earlier, this is a contradictory statement. Now, it sounds simple. The use of the word though sounds simple because we're talking about 2 positive impacts or 2 negative impacts, and after that, we're talking about its opposite. But it's not as simple. When we're talking about something and anything contradicts, it's not going to contradict exactly opposite to what we're talking about. It can have a slight hint of contradictory or the negative statement of the sentences or of the context we've already given. For example, I say, you talk about being healthy, you make videos about being healthy, you post healthy meals, even though you're eating junk food all day. Now here I'm saying that there's hypocrisy in what you're doing, so I use the word though at the end. Okay, so like, it doesn't have to be very clear-cut negatives in the beginning, and it also doesn't have to be very clear-cut positives in the beginning, and then we can just simply say that you don't do as you act, and we use the word though. Now the third and most tricky of all these words is through. Now, why is it so tricky? Because we get to learn one meaning, and it's about a beginning and an end and experiencing the middle part, but it does not explain other usages of the word. Like, the meaning does not explain the other usage of this word. Now, through means that you start from one point and you end at one point, and you have also experienced the middle. Now, what is not highlighted is that through could be about a place, starting from a place, going through a place, and ending at a place. It could also be about time. You start from a time and you spend that time, experience that time, and then you end at that time. And it could also be about some situation. It could be getting into a situation, going through the situation, and ending at that situation. So, and there are very different examples for each of the scenario. For example, if I'm talking about a place, for example, there's an alley and I have to walk, and I start from point A, I end at point B, and I am also walking the middle part. I have to walk all the way through. So I can say I walked through the alley to get to the classroom, or I walked through the alley to get to that shop or that store. Okay, so I walked through the alley. So this is like me talking about getting from one place to the other by walking or covering the area in between. But we can also be talking about time. Now when we're talking about time, we also start from one point and end at one point and are also experience what comes in the middle. For example, Alia was bullied all through 8th grade. Now I'm saying that she was bullied from 8th grade, from the start of 8th grade to the end of 8th grade, and the time that comes in between her 8th grade. For example, if she started from March and ended at December, she was bullied from March till December. I say March is a starting point, December is the ending point of her entire 8th grade. I'm saying that all the time she spent in 8th grade, she was bullied. So I'm not talking about a place. Here I'm actually talking about time, that all the time she spent, the era of her life, 1 year of her life, she was bullied. Another example of this could be you have to pay taxes on all the money you earn throughout the tax year. Now, at the start of the tax year, you have no income, and all the money that you earn and all the money that you have earned by the end of the tax year, you have to pay taxes on that. So I'm talking about a starting point, and I'm talking about an ending point, and I'm talking about the money you've made in the middle, and you have to pay tax on all of it. Now, another scenario where we talk about start and end is through is used in a situation as well. For example, I'm in a situation where there's a crowd, and I have to walk in that crowd and make my way and get to some place. So I walk through the crowd to the stage. So like I'm starting at some point and the situation is crowded, I'm surrounded by people, and I have to walk through the crowd, and it's not explaining any time, it's not explaining any place, but it is explaining a situation that I'm in, and I have to get through that situation. Okay? Now, this was the literal meaning of the word through. But through is also used, another meaning for through is, which is not discussed very much, is doing something by using something. For example, how do you get to work? I get to work through bike, or I get to work through train. Now, here I mean I'm using something to get something done. For example, she looked through her binoculars. Here, I'm not saying, okay, the starting point of the binoculars and then the ending point of the binoculars. No. So I'm using binoculars, so I'm using something and I'm doing something. So I'm using binoculars to see, okay, to see afar. So I say, how do you know this? I was looking through binoculars. That's how I know it. Okay? For example, I can say, the lady in that apartment beats her kids up, and somebody asked me, how do you know that? I was like, oh, I was spying, or I was looking through binoculars. Also, like when we talk about through, we usually say, I had to walk through that door. We use it in a sense that, okay, there's a starting point and there's an ending point, but no, I'm just using the door to cross, to go from one place to the other. So I'm using the word door and walking through as a means of getting something done, and not as getting from one place to the other. It can be used interchangeably, but if you look at walking through the door with a perspective that there's a starting point and there's an ending point and you're going through the middle, it just does not make any sense. So we consider the use of the word through as by means of something, or getting something done by using something. Now we have the easy words left. It's tough. Tough means having the ability to endure hardships. Like if something is hard for everybody, but you as a person have the ability to go through it, you have the ability to face the hardships, you say, I'm tough. Okay, like I can deal with it. So that's tough. It's just tough. Okay, after that we have trough. Trough is usually, I studied it in economics. Trough is usually used to define low level of activity economically. Okay, and trough could also be called a slump, like when you're not getting much work done and you're just passive and it's low activity level, and it's trough. It's spelled as TROUGH. There's like, it's just tough with an R after T. So tough and trough. And after that we have thought. Thought is just like an idea, but you don't say idea, you just say thought. It's just a point of, it's just an idea that comes to you when you're thinking about something. So it's like one individual idea and you call it thought. Okay, so this is all for today. I hope this video helped, and I don't know why I was so hyped up. I tried to relax, I couldn't. Probably the coffee. Anyway, this is all for today, and I'll see you in the next video. If you need more elaboration on it, or if you need it in Hindi or Urdu, I can also upload it in Hindi or Urdu, but I don't think I have many audience asking me or even needing a Hindi Urdu version of the videos I make. So if you need that, just let me know in the comments. If you don't need that, I hope this helps. Okay, and I'm not just talking to myself. So I will be uploading further exercises on the uses of though, true, and thorough, but I'll be doing that by the time you're done with understanding and absorbing the meaning of these. I'll see you again next week. Till then, bye bye.